feel? Dirty South, dirty, can y'all really feel? I got the East Coast feel, West Coast feel. Dirty South, dirty, can y'all really feel me? East Coast feel. Say what?
Hey guys, and welcome back. It's me, Lydia Marie. Welcome back to my channel. Today's tutorial, you guys, is all about how I cover and conceal my dark under eye circles. I do have them. I get it honest. It runs in the family, but a lot of times it has to do with tiredness. A lot of times it has to do with stress, but right now they have to do with my allergies. As you can tell, I'm a little bit congested. It's been a lot of rubbing of the eyes, a lot of tiredness going on, lots of sneezing. So I like to always cover and conceal my dark circles. They're not super prominent. I'm not embarrassed by them, but it's just something that I like to do even on my light makeup days, just to make my face look a little bit more fresh, youthful, and awake. So if you would like to see my step-by-step tutorial on how I conceal and correct my dark under eye circles, I hope that you will keep watching. If you're new here, welcome, and hi to my new subscribers. I'm glad to have you, and hi to those who have been returning since day one. I appreciate you also. Let's go ahead and get into this tutorial. So the tools that we're going to need for the color correction and covering of my dark circles is a color corrector. You guys know I like the ones from Bobbi Brown. This is the color corrector stick. I have Deep Peach and I also have Peach. These are the two that I use. These are full coverage, but they are very creamy, so they don't tug under my under eye. You know, this area of your face is very sensitive. This is the thinnest skin on your face, under eye, so these give me the coverage without tugging. And then I am going to use a concealer that is my same shade as my face. And then I'm going to use a concealer that is lighter than, about a shade to a shade and a half lighter. So whatever concealer you use for brightening or highlighting, you want to grab that as well. Then you're going to need a pressed or finishing powder. I have the Maybelline Fit Me, one that is close to your skin tone, or my Sephora Micro Smooth powder, either one. And lastly, you're going to need a loose setting powder. You can use a banana powder or a powder that's closer to your shade, whatever it is. I tend to use the one, ooh, this top was about to fly open. I tend to use the same one. This is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus banana powder, and those are the tools that you're gonna need. So I use a peach color corrector because my under eye circles tend to want to run brown and a little gray in the corner. And when you use something that is peach or orange against brown, it cancels out the brown, so it neutralizes it. If you have a darker skin tone than me, then you want to go in with something more orange. I use this orange one on the days when my circles are just doing the most, or you want to go in something like this deep peach shade, but you want to get something more orange to color up darkness of your circles and not have dark circles. I also tend to do that on my eyelids as well, which you'll see when we start blending out the concealer. Like I said, my dark circles are partly hereditary, partly because of tiredness, partly because of my allergies. As you can hear, I'm very congested right now, and I tend to rub my eyes get puffy. So when I do my makeup, whether I am doing a light beat or no makeup, I'm always treating my under eye. So the first step when you are going to do anything under your eye, you want to make sure that your under eye is primed. I did my skincare about a half an hour ago, and I took my moisturizer and put it up underneath my eyes and let that sit. You don't want to have moisturizer or add your moisturizer and then go right in with your concealer, because that's going to cause it to move around. So you want to let everything that you put on today, you want to let something sit under your eye. So like my moisturizer, like I said, is sat under my eye for a good 30 minutes or so, and then I'm going to show you the steps on how we can start to conceal these dark circles. So as you can see, I applied the deep peach in the corner of my eye and the lighter peach shade on the outer corner. I applied the deepest shade here because that's where my circles are the darkest. For this step, you can do one of two things. You can take a beauty blender and tap that in. You can take your finger and tap it in, or you can take a concealer brush like this one from Echo Tools. This is like a $4 brush. It has a little angle on it, and you can just take it and tap this in. But when you are blending in the color correction, you don't want to swirl. You don't want to do any of that. You just want to tap it into place, because you want the correction to be right where your dark circles are. As you can see, the color correction has neutralized the brown under my eyes, and it just looks like it's a nice peach color. It looks all one shade. At this stage, you're going to want to grab the powder that is closest to your skin tone. So the pressed powder that you're using that is closest to your skin tone. I'm going to be using this one from Sephora. This is the Micro Smooth powder. It is very finely milled, very, very, very lightweight. So I'm going to take a fluffy eyeshadow brush like so. And I'm just going to tap this in. And I'm going to use this to set the color corrector. Make sure to get any color corrector. What did I say? Color corrector? Okay. Make sure you get any excess off of here. And I'm just going to simply tap this lightly over the color correction. As a tip, if you have mature skin under your eyes like I do, my fine lines on my face are under my eyes. You want to go as light as possible with any powder that you're putting under your eye. For me, I do anyway, right? I like to go as light as possible and then add as I need it. If you start off with caking a lot of powder under your eye before we've even added the concealer, it's going to look a hot, cakey mess, and we don't want that, okay? Just add just a tiny bit of that powder in the same shade, and this way we're just neutralizing the face and making it all one color before we go in with concealer. Now we're going to grab our concealer that is the same shade as our skin tone, and we're going to grab our brightening concealer, and I'm going to show you where to place those next. So I'm going to put the shade that is closest to our skin tone on the outer part of my eye, on the V, this right here. Oops, I didn't mean to get that far under there. And the shade that is brightest is going to go in the corner because that is where the darkest part of my circles are. I also drag some down on the side of my nose because when this part of your face is bright and you have this brightness right here, it's going to reflect and it's going to draw attention away from any darkness up here. It's going to be like a reflection. So that's why I put some down the side of my nose, and I'll show you that. And we're going to let this sit for a good 60 seconds. So whatever you got to do, I got my fan. I'm going to go ahead and fan it. We're going to let this sit before you touch it, before you blend it. We're going to let this sit for a good 60 seconds. Go ahead and get a sip of water, whatever it is, and give yourself that countdown for 60 seconds. Now that my concealer has had a chance to sit, I'm going to take a dense concealer brush like this. This is actually an eyeshadow brush. It's a dense brush, and I'm just going to begin to do the same thing that we did with our color correction and just tap the concealer in place before we move it around. Get up in that corner and then start to move out. And just tap that and blend it. Whatever is left on my brush, I just take that over my eyelid. So my whole eye area would be the same color. Then I get up in the corners with my beauty sponge, whatever sponge you have. You want to use the tip of it. This is slightly damp, it's not super damp, but I just want to get up in the corner here and tap, 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 tap. Don't swirl because you don't want that concealer to move, and just tap it in until it is nice and smooth looking under your eye. Do the same on this eye. Get all up in there, but you can see how bright and finished the eye looks. And we're going to add some powder. Seamless, feel free to give your face a spritz with your setting or your finishing fixing spray. I always call this a finishing spray. This is the Max Fix and Plus. It's just for hydration. Before we add the powder, I'm going to give my face a quick spritz. Let it sit for about 30 to 60 seconds, and then we're going to grab our translucent powder. Okay, this is my favorite part. When we get to the translucent powder, the setting, it just gives my eyes a nice brightness, and it just looks nice and finished. This is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus powder. This is banana. You don't have to use banana. You can use one that's your same skin tone. You can use a translucent, a clear one. It's totally up to you, but this is the stage where you want your loose powder. So I like to take some on my triangle puff and that's way too much. So I'm going to do what I usually do, tap some on my hand, and I'm going to set it under my eye, but I'm not going to set it way up here in my crease. I'm going to set it where we put that lighter shade down here by our nose so that the light can reflect up and bounce off of this section, thereby making those under eye circles, bags, or dark circles, what have you, non-existent. So you want to press it here, kind of like a side of your nose, and then out. And you see how much brighter that looks compared to this eye? It just looks more finished, more awake. So, but not by putting it up here in your crease. That's going to accentuate the fine lines you already have, is by putting powder right up underneath there. So you want to kind of bring it down so the lightness reflects, like so. You see the difference? Let's do the other eye. See the difference? Now it just looks fresh, it looks awake, it looks bright, but it doesn't look overdone, it doesn't look cakey, it just looks nice and fresh and natural. What do y'all think? I'm going to finish the rest of my face and we'll be back with final thoughts. Alright guys, I'm back. I added a little blush, a little more finishing powder, not up here, just around the perimeter of my face. A little eyeshadow, but I just wanted to show you how the under eye is still looking nice and fresh. It's not settling into my fine lines. It's not any extra creasing or anything like that, but that's just how I like to cover up my dark circles. And like I said, no matter what look I'm doing, I'm always using a little concealer under my eyes, even if I'm not doing the full color correction or anything like that. So I hope that this tutorial was helpful for you as usual. If you made it this far in the video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And if you should ever need a little bit of extra help with your makeup application, or you want to learn something specific to your skin tone, to your skin type, etc., I do offer beauty consultations, one-on-one makeup lessons. I do virtual shopping for your beauty, help you refresh your beauty makeup kit or whatever it is that you need. So go ahead and book an appointment with me. I still have slots open for the month of March. You can go ahead and click the first link in my description box and book your one-on-one appointment with me today. Otherwise, I will see you guys back here for my next video, which will be sooner than you think. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. Bye.